Are there any kinds of trends or generalizations you can make with respect to the kinds of companies that um, are successful at adopting these pipelines, or are there just, I guess, are there differences in general between how these different kinds of companies, big, small, different verticals, deal with data pipelines?
Yes, so here I would give you a bit of a historical background also here. So I want to say that this data thing is, if you look back 30 years ago, has changed a lot. Before, data was not the center stage. It was about, doing an algorithm. So when we're dealing with I don't know, the port of Singapore, you had to find the best algorithm to uh, load as quickly as possible the containers, loading and discharge of containers on a container vessel. So that was the objective. But very often at the start of the project, you realize that data wasn't of high quality, and you started to get into trouble. So this has changed, luckily. People are much more aware, especially organizations these days. Large organizations have done a huge effort to make data center stage. And now the question is almost the opposite. I got all this data. What can I do with it? So, of course, this is where you come in and you help create these problems. So, or solve these problems. What you see is that there are big differences between companies. If you talk to companies in the semiconductor business, with everything is automated, in the plants, or in companies like Samsung, TSMC, McDonald's, the data quality is extremely high, um, which of course creates a fantastic environment for you to be successful with your project. The main issue that we are seeing right now is not so much on the data side. It's the fact that Python is fast becoming the mainstream language. So it used to be a glue language that did move into the AI language, the main language for AI, into mainstream, to a point where even CIOs who didn't want to have anything to do with Python, now they have to. But that creates a need to have tools really to scale up, to be able not only to be used for pilots, but also into full applications. So the danger here is, and that we have seen, basically Gartner was also had a report on this, where he had 85% of pilots in Python staying pilots, not making it to the next stage for various reasons. Lack of skills, because a lot of things were not reused. They were starting again from scratch after the pilot. So you have to have a JavaScript guy, you have to have another data guy, DevOps guy, and so on and so forth. So this is not sustainable. And this is why also we have created Taipy, to really ease that process, not to stop with silos. The innovation group doing some pilots, on the IT group doing the redevelopment from scratch. That's really crazy. To be able to have somebody who is who knows Python, to be able to develop an application very quickly without having like 8 or 9 or 10 people around him, which increases the cost also, where you move from a pilot for 20K to a full application for 500,000 or more. There is also the silo issue is always an issue everywhere. I hear very often, the data scientist group saying, "Okay, I'm exposing my algorithm. My algorithm is exposed, and that's it," as if life has stopped. That's not how it works. The algorithm will end up inside a full application, and this is where you need to continue the pipeline thing towards the execution side. You need to be able, for the data scientist, to understand what the end user will be doing with his pipelines. So we see the pipeline really getting beyond the data science and cover the whole application.